Hello, everyone. Hello. So, this is a little bit of a combination of things. It's a thank you, but it's also me doing something that I did not get the opportunity to do while I was there, and it's all about Kenneth, John Kenneth Hayes. So I decided to do this because I did not get the opportunity to do it while we were in Chicago for Kenny services. So I'm going to first thank everyone that did everything that they could to assist me, us, my siblings, and I in funeralizing my dad. Thank you to everyone who contributed. Thank you to everyone who showed up. Thank you to everyone who helped in any way that they could, even before he passed away. Thank you to each and every one of you. I so truly appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you to my sister who really helped me do something that I wasn't sure that I could do. And when I asked her to do it, she took it right on and said no problem. Now I'm going to try to do this as quickly as I possibly can. Pardon me. I'm going to try to do this as quickly as I possibly can, just because I am on a little bit of a time constraint. So, had we funeralized Kenny the way that I wanted to funeralize him, had we had the full on services, we were on a little bit of a program, if you will. It was a little unorthodox, but not unusual. And I wanted to make certain that I spoke not only from my heart, but I spoke from what I knew of my dad. Um, so if you got a copy of the obituary, if you got a copy of this, Kai did this for us, and I knew that even though it was something I wanted to do, I would not be able to. So she took it on. Like I said, she took it on as soon as I asked her to do it. And if you read the story of his life, if you read his actual obituary, the way that it's written as if, excuse me, he were the one speaking. And I like the way that she did that. And without her knowing, she mentioned some things in the obituary that I had actually made points in my actual talk, my actual eulogy, if you will. So the way that it was supposed to go was that we were supposed to have the introduction remarks. We were supposed to have a prayer. We were supposed to have those coming up with remarks. And instead of them being remarks, there were supposed to be songs. I didn't want anyone to really come up and just talk about how they knew him and, what they did as, buddies or, cousins or siblings or friends. I wanted everyone to just come up with a song because I know that he liked music. He was an artist, so I knew that he liked drawing, and I wanted this to be more along the lines of who he was versus who we wanted him to be. So there was supposed to be that, and then I was going to do the actual eulogy. And I wrote the eulogy months ago. Shortly after I came back from Chicago in May, I wrote the eulogy because I knew then that he would not be much longer. So without further ado, let me go ahead and get this in, and I'm going to read everything that I have, including the intro remarks, just so that you get the full on picture of what I was attempting to do. Thank you all for being here. To my family, I appreciate you. If you are here, it's because you are either a sibling, a child, a grandchild, a cousin, niece, nephew, or friend, and your presence means a lot to me. For those who aren't sure about who I am Juaitan, the oldest arrow in Kenny's quiver. If you know your word, then you know what I am speaking about. If not, I will tell you later. We're going to do something today that you may not be accustomed to. It's not unique or brand new, just maybe something that you aren't used to. We're going to have our prayer, the reading of Kenny's life, then remarks. But we're not going to do traditional remarks. I would appreciate you coming up here with an old school hymn. And if you can't sing, don't worry about it. I can't either. We will all help you out. Now, just so that we are aware, so that everyone is aware, my song of choice was Victory Is Mine. And I have pulled up the lyrics and everything because this is something that I've been singing in my spirit for a very long time, like for months, maybe 2-3 months. I've been singing this song, Victory Is Mine. And I think that it stuck with me because he is now victorious. Kenny is now victorious. He is no longer on this earth in pain, suffering. He is no longer dealing with the things that he had to deal with while he was here. And he's no longer unsure of his presence. He is victorious in this moment. He is victorious. So that song, it came on to me and it would not leave me. So that was going to be the song that I sang. Now for the eulogy part. So once again, I am Juaitan Robinson, the oldest child of John Kenneth Hayes, or as I said before, the oldest arrow in his quiver. If you are able, come with me please to Psalms 127, verses 3 through 5. Children are a heritage from the Lord, offspring a reward from him. Like arrows in the hands of a warrior are children born in one's youth. Blessed is the man whose quiver is full of them. They will not be put to shame when they contend with their opponents in court. So in short, that means that children are a blessing to a man. And the more that he has, the more blessed that he is, especially if he has them in his youth. Years ago, when I developed a real adult relationship with my dad, I asked him how many children he had. And initially he didn't want to answer, but I had to remind him of a conversation that we'd had years prior about how I didn't want my children to ever date a relative by accident. How would that look or feel? You find someone that you really are feeling and decide to date. Maybe even consider building a life, and then you find out that they are blood family. That would look and feel horrible. He had given me some names during the initial conversation and told me to see my grandmother for the contact information, my grandmommy. He didn't know where they all were, but he knew that she tried to keep up with as many as she possibly could. So back to the conversation where I asked him how many children. He told me that he didn't have an exact number, but he wouldn't be surprised if it were more than 20. I was momentarily in shock, but then I remembered who I was talking to and that anything is possible when you are dealing with John Kenneth Hayes. My next question was, how on earth did you convince all of these women to make these babies with you? And his response was hilarious to me. And I quote, "Well, your daddy ain't never been no ugly man." I chuckled and commented about how charismatic he is as well, or was as well, and that was a deadly combination. After a bit more conversation and a little bit of revelation, I said, "So you really believe in that whole quiverful word, huh?" His reply, "Yep." So to my brothers and sisters that I know, and to those that I don't know, I want you to know that you were a blessing to this man. The soul and spirit that this man was, you were a blessing. Whether you had a relationship with him or not, Whether that relationship was good, bad, or indifferent, you were this man's blessing, and he knew it. He took pride in it, but he was also, dare I say, afraid of it. He knew that he was not the best father to his children, not the best partner to their mothers. Kenny was always concerned about what his children thought about him. He wondered if their mothers had told them bad things about him because he was not a good partner to them. I assured him, and I don't know about your mothers, that my mother never had a bad thing to say about him, at least not around me. She may have said some things to others, but to me or around me, never. She wanted me to see my father for who he really was, without her contributing to the narrative, and I appreciate her for that. To you, my brothers and my sisters, this man loved you, and he was proud to have you as his arrows. The word, Ephesians 6:1-4, tells us to honor our fathers and mothers, but it also tells the parents not to agitate their children, but instead bring them up with the knowledge and training of the Lord. I did my best to honor my parents no matter what happened between us. Now, as for the agitation part, my God, we won't even get into that. Many people didn't know how sick Kenny was, or even how long he had been sick. He didn't want people to know. He told me not to tell anyone. He said that he didn't want them feeling sorry for him or paying attention to him now that he was sick. All over him now with care and concern. If they really cared, they would have shown it to me before they found out I was sick. I remember when he first told me that the doctors were talking about cancer and what they wanted him to do. And I asked him if he was going to do it. And he said, nah, I don't know. We'll see what they're talking about. If you knew Kenny, you knew he was extremely stubborn, had to do things his way, and didn't trust many people at all. When they told him he was at stage 4, he refused chemo and radiation. And to my knowledge, during that time, he only did 1 round of radiation that was after they discovered a mass that was causing excruciating pain, a pain that he couldn't handle on his own. The doctors believed if they treated it, it may ease the pain a little. So he allowed that and nothing more. Now we are here saying goodbye, or see you later, or whatever we are saying, to a man who loved his children and did his life the way he wanted to, no matter the consequences or repercussions. If you take nothing else away from this day, take with you this: love. Love your children and treat them right. Love your parents and treat them well. Love your life and live in a way that brings no regret or shame. Lastly, love on people while they're here with you now. Let them know that you are here for them, that you care about them, and will do whatever you can for them within reason. Don't wait until something happens before you do. God's will, be well, peace, and blessing.